Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Northridge, and I am your moderator for tonight's Candidates Night, sponsored by the Alton Centennial Rotary Club and organized by Bob and Mary B. Longabaugh. I would like to recognize Peter Bolster, President of the Alton Centennial Rotary Club, for a few words. Peter?
That's electric. This is a good start for the candidates.
Folks, that is if he can just do a few words.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight on behalf of the Alton Centennial Rotary Club. It's kind of nice not to have to be in the hot seat, but touching this thing seemed to be like a hot seat, I guess. So if you come up here to speak, don't touch it. The Alton Centennial Rotary Club has been in existence now for about 5 years, and this year I am the president. One of the events that has become our signature event over the last 4 years, this will be our 4th year, is the Alton Home Garden and Recreation Show, which is scheduled at Prospect Mountain High School for the 16th of April. So we would just encourage everybody here and also those that are watching TV to come out for that. It's been a wonderful event. We've had about 125 exhibitors, and this year's is going to be bigger and better than ever. So we'd encourage people to mark that on their calendar. We're just very much privileged to sponsor this event again tonight. As you know, Rotary is an organization that's made up of thousands of chapters in every country of the world, and therefore we have the opportunity to reach out and to touch people around the world. One of the main programs that Rotary has sponsored over the years has been the Polio Plus program, which has made a tremendous contribution at eliminating polio in all but a couple of small corners of the earth. And so on behalf of the Alton Centennial Rotary Club, we want to welcome you and hope that you have a very good candidates night tonight.
Thank you, Peter. Tonight's meeting is to give candidates running for town and school positions a forum to express their views and answer questions from the audience. The rules of the evening are: candidates running unopposed will be introduced and invited to make up to a 1-minute statement. Then candidates running for contested offices will be invited to the head table and allowed to make up to a 2-minute presentation, participate in the question and answer session with the audience, and then make up to a 1-minute summary. When one particular candidate is asked a question from the audience, I will give the other candidates an opportunity to also respond to that question. As in the past, if any individual is present and is running a write-in campaign, he will be given the same opportunity as those on the ballot. If a candidate is not present this evening, I will allow his designated representative to participate. Please be aware that this evening's meeting is being taped for replay on Channel 26 at various times prior to March 8th elections. It is therefore necessary that all speakers use the microphones. Please begin all questions or comments by first stating your name. Also, I understand you got to get very close to these microphones and speak right into them, so please do so. Finally, remember that we are all friends and neighbors, and please act accordingly. Tonight we will start with the school ballot. And the #1 seat on the school ballot is school moderator. There's a fellow named Mark Northridge that's running for that. And all I can say, folks, is that I enjoy doing this, and if you see fit, please elect me to do it again. School clerk for 1 year is Linda Roy here. School treasurer for 3 years, Shirley Lane. Is Shirley here? Shirley, would you care to make a statement?
Just that I served
Come on up to the microphone.
Is it under 2 minutes, or do I have to time it?
Shirley, should she turn that around, Bob, and speak towards the audience, or?
Yeah, except then I can't see you with the microphone.
We don't need to see.
Hold the microphone more that way and then turn it around.
Will I get electrocuted if I touch it?
I'll take the risk for you.
We can.
I'll take the risk for you. There
Lose Peter?
there you
Yeah, you
go.
can afford to lose
There
it,
you
not
go.
me.
There you go, Shirley.
I've been school treasurer since 2003, and I enjoy doing it, and I'd appreciate your votes. I have enjoyed serving you, and it's been fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. We'll go through the town also at this point, the uncontested races. Trustee of the trust fund for 3 years, David St. Cyr. Is David here?
He had to be out of town this week, so.
David's out of town?
He's out of town, he did have a letter that I put out on the table.
Fine. There is some propaganda on David out at the table. Cemetery trustee for 3 years, Karen Poor. Is Karen here? Budget committee member for 3 years, elect one, Stephen Miller. Is Steve here? Care to make a presentation, Steve?
Not really.
Okay.
I'll say something later.
Budget committee members for 2 years. Douglas Kirkpatrick. Is Douglas here? Barbara Howard. I know Barbara's here.
Hi, I'm Barbara Howard, and I'm running for the 2-year term for Budget Committee. I began working with the Budget Committee last August when there was an empty seat that needed to be filled, and so I volunteered to fill that position, and the work began, and it was an incredible process, and I learned a lot. I decided to volunteer to fill the seat because I wanted a fiscally responsible and conservative person to fill the seat, and to work hard on behalf of the taxpayers. So I'm looking forward to continuing to serve the taxpayers, and I sincerely would appreciate your vote. And that's it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. There is an open post with no one running. That's planning board member for 3 years. Also, there's an open post on the supervisor checklist for 5 years. No one's running for that office. Zoning board members for 3 years. Is Paul Monzone here? Timothy Kinnon. We'll get to the contested races then. School board member for 3 years, elect one. We have 2 people running, Sandra Wyatt and Jeffrey Clay. Sandra is here. Jeffrey? There's Jeffrey. Why don't you come right up front and take a seat behind your name tag. Sandra, you can make up to a 2-minute presentation.
Thank you.
Get close to the mic.
My name is Sandy Wyatt. I've been on the school. Better? Is that better?
Real close.
Closer.
That's about the best I can do. My name is Sandy Wyatt, and I've been on the school board for the last 3 years. I've learned a lot, more than I ever knew happened in the school system. I've been involved also in the Finance Committee, the Building and Grounds Committee, and the SAU Services Committee. Also, there's a building plan that's available for the public to see, so I hope that you will all take a look at that. And if you have any comments, the school board would really be interested in what you have to say. I've been involved in the Alton school system for most of my life. My family moved here from the Boston area, and I attended this school from 7th through 12th grade. I have 2 children, Rob and Sarah, that also graduated from this school. I have a granddaughter that just recently graduated from Prospect Mountain, and she's a freshman over at Keene, doing very well. And I have 2 grandsons in this school. Sam is in 6th grade and Brian is in 8th grade. So I'm very interested in the educational process and what's happening in our town. I've also been involved in our community. I volunteered for more than 20 years on the ambulance service that my parents, Leo and Marion McDonald, started in this town. I also am I'm president of the Alton Community Services Board, and we provide the food pantry. So every Saturday morning I'm there working on the food pantry. I work full-time as a registered nurse at Frisbee Hospital in the Surgical Services Unit down in Rochester. So between my professional work and my volunteer duties have made me very aware of the economy in this area. I know that everybody is worried about finances, and I really feel that we need to spend the money for our kids, but we need to have good quality for what we provide. And I would really appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Time's up.
Jeffrey Clay.
Thank you.
Before we get going, Bob, that thumping we're hearing, can we do anything about that? Where's it coming from?
That's not my system, it's the school system.
It's one of the wires underneath there.
Someone standing on
I'm
it?
not touching anything.
Okay.
Well, let's try it, Jeffrey. Go ahead.
Very good. Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Clay, and I am a candidate for the Alton School Board. My wife Sharon and I have been residents of Alton for the past 8 years or so. I have 30-plus years of leadership, management, and training experience. I am a 20-year honorably discharged veteran of the United States Air Force, and I have honorably served 10 years as a professional educator and administrator in New Hampshire. Additionally, I have earned 3 degrees from the University of New Hampshire to include a master's degree in public school administration and supervision. I am seeking public office as an opportunity to better serve my community. With my background and experience, I am confident that I will be able to well serve the interests of the people of Alton as a member of the school board. As an elected official, I will always insist upon transparency and openness at all times regarding the people's business. Philosophically and politically, I am a conservative Republican. I believe strongly in conservative fiscal responsibility. Every career military member is well aware of the maxim that states, service to the country may not provide you with everything that you want, however, it will always provide you with everything you need. If elected, I will apply this maxim to the budget request items and all proposals for the expenditure of any taxpayer's dollars. I strongly believe there are areas in which the school budget can be reduced while still ensuring everything that is needed is provided. If elected, one of my first goals will be to reduce the frequency in which the school board meets. I believe the more often these boards meet, the greater likelihood the cost of the taxpayers will increase. Additionally, these boards should not serve as a platform for airing of personal squabbles or to micromanage the school administrators. School boards should establish short and long-range goals and policies, provide the resources for carrying them out, and allow the superintendents the autonomy to carry out those responsibilities while overseeing the efficiency and compliance. I am thankful and pleased to be here this evening, and I look forward to any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have any questions from the audience for these folks? If so, come on up front and Peter.
She's not there anymore. You want to turn this thing around again?
Yeah.
Lauren Carr. I noticed in yesterday's newspaper, the governor presented his budget. In that, one of the items, he eliminates state subsidies for local retirement costs. This is going to be a large burden upon our local budgets from now on. The new contract that the school board has proposed the voters vote on in a few weeks included almost a 12.5% increase in the spiking retirement. What's your opinion on that, and do you still support this contract, knowing that this could have long-term costs?
I'll go to Mr. Clay first on that, let him.
And the best answer I can give you is, I haven't read the article and I haven't read the proposal that's been put forth, and I would really like the opportunity to read it and try to understand exactly how it's going to affect the local policies before I answer. I'm not trying to avoid it. It's obviously something that's going to have to be dealt with if in fact it goes through as you've stated. I think it would be create quite a lot of problems for the people right now.
Mrs. Wyatt.
I also have not had time to read that article. We do have a contract that is in the works right now, so there's not much we can do about that right now. But if, in fact, that does go through about the having to provide more for the retirement, that's certainly something that we'll have to work on.
Thank
Try
you.
to keep costs down.
Any other questions? Mr. Miller?
Steve Miller. I believe both schools have serious challenges with the current kneecap scores.
Louder, please.
I'm sorry. I believe both schools have significant challenges, both based on the current kneecap scores that were just recently published, the possibility of a major renovation to the Alton Central School or a brand new school. And what I was wondering is what essentially, and I'd like to have both of you answer, are your where are your priorities in terms of either building a new school, having a major renovation, the current kneecap scores, the current contract at Prospect Mountain High School, and what do you plan to, what is your thoughts on tackling each of these three challenges?
Sandra will go to you first on that.
As far as renovations or a new school, I feel that financially, the renovations would be the most cost-effective way to go. Rather than scrapping this building and building a whole new building, it just seems that a renovation would be a better way to go. We do have a drawing that was at the deliberative session, and it's going to be out on voting day too for everybody to look at and to give their thoughts on it. A renovation that would renovate the oldest part of the building, which was the 1956 addition that's over past the gym. Is that okay on that part of it? The next part was the kneecaps. We just, as a board, we were just given the results of the elementary kneecap on Monday. So obviously something has to be done. We want those kneecaps to be better. We want the children, it to reflect the education that we feel that the kids are getting. Also, kneecaps are going to be gone. I might stop.
No, finish up.
Kneecaps are only going to be in effect for the next 2 years, and then we're not going to have kneecaps. I have 2 grandchildren in this building. I'm very aware and very concerned about education here at the school, but I don't think that just those tests do the right thing to evaluate what the education is for our kids in this building. I think that a lot more is going on than what's reflected in those scores. Third thing was contract at Prospect Mountain. I don't know that we have one yet, do we?
There's a recent issue with Prospect Mountain.
Steve, you're going to have to come up so it'll be on the tape. I'm going to let these people speak this item out, so forget the red light on this question.
Okay. My question is, the teachers are bringing some type of action through the National Labor Relations Board, concerning, I guess, the administration or management, adding between 30 and 45 minutes of additional time to the teachers for some, I guess based on, I'm assuming, accountability in developing a lesson plan to tackle, issues such as the current kneecap scores. And as a member of the school board, how do you personally feel about that? Do you personally side with the teachers and the teachers union that the administration is currently overstepping their bounds or authority in generating this additional work, or are you, quite frankly, in favor of it and possibly applaud it?
I think that there's still a lot of work to be done on both sides. I don't think that we should just shrug off the test scores, that we need to do something about that. I don't know that the answer is to add that time to the teachers that you're talking about. But we need to come to some sort of decision on how to improve how the education is reported, how we I don't know, how we present what the education is for the kids, in the test scores. I do know that we just have been accredited at the high school. We had a group of people come in from 3 different states who passed an accreditation on our school, and they thought it was a wonderful school. And they also commented over and over about the kind of students that we had in the high school, that they had never come across such a polite group of kids. That was their comment to us.
Jeffrey, would you want to tackle all those questions at once?
Do my best. Starting with the time, I haven't read it, but I'll go out there. If they're trying to change the collective bargaining agreement in midstream, I would be opposed to that. If they're looking to add additional time, obviously they're trying to change their collective bargaining agreement. I don't believe the kids need to get up any earlier and be at school an hour earlier. I don't believe that they have to stay an hour later. I believe the answer to improving test scores can be found with better utilization of the time that the children are in the school. I would not be in favor of any changes whatsoever of adding more time. Regarding renovations, a new building, or whatever, I'll tell you exactly how I feel. Unless I'm a big proponent of everything has to be safe. If this is a safe and secure and efficient building, the building stays. There's no need for a new school. If the building needs a renovation for aesthetic reasons, I wouldn't do that. If it needs a renovation in order to provide something that's safe, something structurally unsafe, then we make that renovation. We just have to make sure the school building is safe. But barring those, we continue and move forward using the facility. I actually like this school, and I'm confident. I know a lot of people who have gone to school here and talk about it, and they like the school. And the quality of education that they receive here, I think, is very good. Kneecap scores. As an educator myself, I can tell you that we're always trying and striving for a process of continuous improvement within the school. Every administrator, every teacher wants the children to be successful in learning, especially reading and math scores. With that said, we have to find ways it's a tool. The kneecap scores are nothing more than a tool. Often it's a measuring stick of how well the school is doing. I don't see it that way. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it as a tool to identify children who are in need of maybe remedial help or more focus in math, in science, in reading, and so that the teachers can identify the children and provide them with that additional help that's needed. Yes, everybody wants to be the #1 school, and I'm not saying, again, we strive for continuous improvements, but they have to be systematic. They have to be in small increments. You're not going to go from, we'll just use normal grading, you're not going to go from a 75 to a 100 overnight. If it was my student who was scoring the 75s, I'd strive for an 80. Let's get that 80. So we don't have to throw everything out and start all over. We focus, and I know that's what the administrators are doing in this building. They're working constantly, attending workshops, and they have the test results. They have staff development meetings where they talk about the test results. And I would not want the citizens of Alton to think that the teachers in this district are not doing their jobs, because I don't believe that for one moment. Teachers do not enter the profession to fail. They enter because they love the children, they want to nurture the children, but most importantly, they want to convey and transmit a solid education to the children. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Barbara Howard, I'd just like to throw out that if the test scores were fantastic, phenomenal, and all of that, you'd be all in favor for these kneecap tests, would you not? You know, when the results are down, you diminish the importance of the test, both of you. But that aside, I do have a question. My question is, do you believe that the school board policies are made to be broken? And there is a history of breaking policies? And if you are in favor of that, can you please justify that to me? And if you are not in favor of breaking policies on a regular basis, could you explain to me what you would, what you might be willing to do to rectify that? And do you recognize that breaking policies is a breach of trust with the public?
Jeffrey, you first this time.
Absolutely. 20 years in the military, I know about rules and policies, and I know that they're written and they're to be adhered to. And I don't believe in breaking policies. And I would call someone out on breaking a policy. I would identify the policy. Did you break the policy? I don't believe you have to get an attorney involved at all the times to do that. But you should be able to, especially in a small community such as this, grown adults tasked with following the policies and the rules should be able to work these issues out and identify the rule, talk about it, and say, look, you made a mistake, let's rectify it, and let's go forward without breaking the rules in the future. I'm not a rule breaker, and I don't put up with it. You're not going to circumvent to achieve your own personal agenda, not while I'm there.
Sandra?
Well, 40 years as a registered nurse, I also don't believe in breaking policies or going against what the rules are. But if something needs to be changed, then yes, you do need to talk about it. And I'd like you to be more specific about what rule or law or whatever I broke.
On this board?
Sure. Because that kind of sounded like an accusation, so I'd like to know what I did.
No, it's just that in the past, there have been times when the policy was broken. There was a policy broken about with the whole thing with the contract with Chip Kraus. You know, we had a contract. It ran out in June. There was no new contract until the emergency meeting that was held in November. And yet at the deliberative session, you know, we were told that there was a contract, there wasn't a contract, you know, so that's just one small example. And
well,
there are other examples that I don't have
written down. I think we had a lawyer that spoke on that, and we were not in the wrong. So what's another one that I broke?
Okay, but then Jeff St. Cyr stood up at the end and said that the contract ran out in June because it was the end of the 5-year contract that you had with Chip. And then you negotiated a new contract in November. The budget committee discussions all around Chip Kraus and the $30,000 non-contract, that what you thought was a contract, we didn't see anything in writing, nothing was given to us in writing. And we were told that he had not been paid yet, but your lawyer thought he had been paid. When we asked for proof of his payment, we got proof of payment for the bathroom renovations and the windows. So we went through the whole process between June, well, we started in August, as you know, and by November, yes, in November there was a contract. So what we were acting on was that period between August and November when there was no contract. But publicly, the public thinks there was a contract. And so that, you know, when you hire someone for a school and there was a policy that anything over $5,000, I believe, should go out for negotiations and stuff.
It says it doesn't have to go out for bid.
But isn't there a policy that the school board has to vote? And then the original contract with it was happening with the Buildings and Grounds. The Buildings and Grounds Committee were the ones that voted to say okay for the $30,000 without it being in writing. And that was not the school board members. There were some school board members there, but not enough for a quorum the night that they voted initially. So there's a policy, a breach right there. And that was not an emergency. That was not So I'm just saying that it has happened. We're all aware that it has happened. Moving forward,
that's
could we
one
prevent it?
thing, yeah.
Yes, that's one thing. You asked me for an example. I don't have any others off the top of my head right now, but I'm sure there might be somebody else in the audience. The
Okay.
point is that it has happened.
And I think it was brought up too that we went with Chip Kraus because he was someone that we knew, it was before I was on the board.
I'm not arguing that.
He's been an architect here apparently for 5 years. He was for Prospect Mountain. It was also brought up that if you need a surgeon, do you go out and get the one that gives you the cheapest price?
But if I have
Probably
somebody
not.
work on my house, I have it in writing, what's going to be done, how much time is going to be spent, and what the estimate is. And it's in writing, and it's a signed, binding contract. I don't just say, oh, do whatever, and then submit the bill when you're done. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to be gone and not pay attention to how many hours you're putting into the job. And that's basically what's been done, so.
Okay. Jeffrey, you care to address that last issue?
The only thing I would say is, even if technically it was legal, and an attorney says it's technically legal, I would personally look it up myself, but is it what the town expected of the school board at the time? I think the town expects the school board to talk to the town. In other words, if we're going to build a new school or we're going to have a renovation, well, let's get that out of the way first before we expend taxpayers' money on architectural fees and these other types of things. I think it could have been more clearly presented to the town.
Any other questions from the audience? Seeing or hearing none, Jeffrey, we'll let you wrap up first.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen of Alton, I'm not a professional politician. I may not have all the answers to your questions, and I have only been a resident for Alton for 8 or so years. But I will endeavor to serve you with honesty, integrity, and openness at all times. Both the Alton School District and the town must find ways to reduce the cost of the taxpayer while still providing everything that is needed. I believe this can be accomplished through the efficient use of resources. Like many of you, I greatly appreciate the service and dedication of those selectmen and school board members who have volunteered so much of their time and energies toward making Alton such a great place to live and go to school. However, I firmly believe that change in leadership for a community is a good thing. Therefore, I humbly ask for your vote to elect me to both the Board of Selectmen and the school board, where I may be able to devote my time and energies and leadership towards accomplishing all of our shared goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra?
I just love my town, want the best for my town. My husband and I are looking down the road, hopefully not too far for retirement. Finances are a big thing for us. Taxes are a big thing for us. We want quality for what we spend, and I want the educational program here at school to continue. A lot of us here in this audience went to this school, and we've done okay for ourselves. I would really appreciate your vote. I have spent a lot of time on the school board, and it's really a learning process, and I would like to continue on with what I have just begun. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, your candidates for school board. Moving on to the town part of the ballot. Water Commissioner for 3 years, elect one. We have 2 candidates running. Is John Conboy here? Is Robert Tilton here? Guess we won't have a debate on that tonight, folks. Library trustee for 3 years. Library trustee for 3 years, elect one. We have 2 candidates, Ruth Arsenault and Betty Jane Muhlenbrook. Ruth is not here this evening. She has pneumonia. She's at home. And Betty Jane is here, and she's opted just to do a 1-minute presentation from the mic. So, Betty Jane. 2 minute, you can do it. No, you can do it right from there. 2 minutes.
And this gets flipped around. Thank you, Peter. Good evening.
A little closer to the mic.
Okay, there's more here than I thought. People are in the back, not up front.
Hello, sir, we can't hear you.
Okay. I'm Betty Jane Muhlenbrook, and I'm running for the 3-year term of library trustee. My husband and I have lived in Alton since 1988, first as summer residents, and then for the last 3 years as year-round retirees. We emigrated all the way from Rochester, New Hampshire, where we owned a family florist business and garden center, Studley Flower Gardens. It kept us very busy, and we greatly enjoyed the hours that we were able to escape to beautiful Lake Winnipesaukee with our 3 sons. I've always loved libraries. I graduated from Douglas College with my BA, and that's the Women's Undergraduate School of Rutgers University. I then continued my studies at the Rutgers Graduate School of Library Science, graduating with a master's degree in 1964. Positions in both public and scientific libraries preceded the move to Rochester. With a family now on the way and working full-time for Studley's, I still remained active in the local library. First as a member of the Friends Club, and then from 1997 to 2008 as a member of the Board of Trustees. Although Rochester is a larger community, the board serves the same function as the Office of Library Trustee here in Alton. We interviewed and hired the librarian, approved the annual budget as presented by the librarian. We set policies for both the public and employees, as well as oversaw both collection and building expansions. It was with great regret that I had to resign when we moved away. Presently, I volunteer and am president of the Frisbee Hospital Auxiliary. I serve on the Frisbee Board of Trustees and enjoy the barrel planting with the Alton Garden Club. Still, that underlying desire to serve my new community as part of the public library remains. I therefore request your support and vote for me as library trustee in the coming March 8th election. I look forward to serving you. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty Jane. This is Paul Teixeira. He's making a short statement for Ruth Arsenault, who is running for library trustee.
Good evening. Ruth is battling pneumonia. She asked me if I would bring this up and read this. I agreed that I would do it. Dear voters, I'm Ruth Arsenault, running for library trustee. Apologize for not attending. Being the youngest of 9, I put myself through college learning at an early age the value of $1, which earned me a master's degree in early childhood development. She's the mother of 2 grown children living in Alton and also a stepmother of 2 living in Massachusetts. She was a stay-at-home mom by choice until her youngest child entered 4th grade because she knew that a child's first teacher is his or her mother. I'm trying to read this the right way. The most important childhood roots are best established in early life. I've lived in Alton for 12 years and believe communities operate best when many types of people volunteer in whatever capacity they can bring to the table, even if it's just one day a year, such as a cleanup day. Local civic volunteering. I've been volunteering for caregivers for well over 15 years, enjoyed 4 years on the beach committee, and am presently the treasurer of the Alton Garden Club. Retired from teaching in 2003, found space in my busy life to volunteer for things that feel worthwhile. Goals, I believe in my past experience, I can bring a new vision to the library, promoting good established ideas that are already in place, plus adding to these. My love of books for young children and their needs has always been in my forefront. Working with staff and the public for higher expectations of the current library is my highest goal. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me at 875-8301. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely yours, Ruth Arsenault.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Folks, the final office that we're going to, you can turn that around, Peter. The final office is selectman for 3 years. Elect 2, we have 6 candidates running. We'll ask you all to come forward. Dave Hussey is up here already. Pat Fuller. Rachel Strickland. Jeffrey Clay. Stephen Miller. And Mark DeCoff. What I'll do, folks, is I'll start the way the names appear on the ballot. I believe, Pat, I'm not sure, are these in the order that?
We haven't seen the ballot yet.
Just make it.
There you go. I'll go down my list that I have here, and we'll go that way. I'll call upon Pat to make the first presentation of up to 2 minutes. Pat?
For the past 20 years, I have served the town of Alton in many capacities. I volunteered at the Gilman Library and also filled in as the assistant librarian. Then I spent 5.5 years on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. For the past 9 years, I have had the privilege of serving this community as one of its selectmen. I am running again because I feel that there is still more work for me to do. I was one of the forces in the coalition of donor towns that forced the state to temporarily do away with donor towns. However, the threat of the return of Alton being a donor town is very real, and I feel that of all the candidates, I am best able to prevent Alton from becoming a donor town again. All 9 years that I have served as a selectman, I have never had an agenda of my own. My own agenda is what is best for the town of Alton and its citizens. Alton, also in good economic times and in bad, I have always been fiscally conservative. It has always been my goal to keep Alton's tax rate as low as possible. That goal, I feel, has been accomplished. I have proven more than once that I am willing and capable to stand up to the plate and make the difficult decisions. I have also shown that I am willing to change my position on an issue when presented with sound evidence that contradicts my view. If re-elected, I will continue to do what I have always done, represent all the citizens of Alton equally and fairly, listen to their concerns, limit spending, work with other elected officials and government agencies for the benefit of Alton, many of whom I have gotten to know over the years. I believe my experience, knowledge, and record makes me worthy of re-election. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel Strickland.
Hello, my name is Rachel Strickland. I have been an Alton resident since 1991, which is 20 years. Went to Alton Central School from grades 2nd through 12th, which after time developed to be a very, very small school. From then I joined the Alton Fire Department in 2001 after graduation, and I am still employed there as a firefighter EMT. I attended classes and became a medical assistant and presently work for a small business in town. I have some goals as a selectman that I would like to read off. I believe that morality is a necessity for a selectman. I believe that improving the lines of communications between town departments and the communities is a necessity. I'm sure that the community would like to know what's going on as far as the police log being back in the papers, how many fire calls we've had, etc. The department heads need to be allowed, I believe, the department heads need to be allowed to run their own departments as they see fit without being micromanaged. I believe that department heads need to be allowed to run their own departments and be given the chance. And if all else fails,
follow the chain of command with making things happen if they cannot proceed and do it on their own. I believe that we need to improve tourism in the town to increase revenues that we're slowly losing every day due to the economy. I believe that we need to come up with some type of plan to bring these people back, whether it's the roller skating rink, which was a lot of fun, and that brought people in back when I was younger, etc. Have just fun stuff. I believe that we need to support our local businesses to help make the economy rise within our own town. Instead of going to Home Depot for wood or screws, go to our local places and start giving them our business. Instead of going to Walmart for an oil change, go to our local garages that we have in town. I believe that that will help make the economy better in our own town if everybody could pull together and just start working in our own town. And that's pretty much all I have for now. I'm open to any questions at the end. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to getting your vote.
Thank you. Jeffrey Clay.
It's going to be abbreviated since I gave you my bio and introduction earlier. My name is still Jeffrey Clay, and I am a candidate for the Alton Board of Selectmen. With my background and experience, I'm confident that I will be able to well serve the interests of the citizens of Alton as a member of the Board of Selectmen. I strongly believe there are areas in which the town budget can be reduced while still ensuring that everything that is needed is provided for. As a board member, one of my first requests, I would ask the town manager to scrutinize the utilization of human resources to see if there are opportunities where we can better utilize and possibly reduce the number of employees currently required in the town without sacrificing the quality of services provided. I am thankful and pleased to be here this evening, and I do look forward to answering your questions in a few moments.
Thank you. Now, next on my list here is David Hesse. David.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and welcome fellow candidates. I came a selectman a couple of years ago after being on the Alton board of planning board. I decided to throw my hat in the ring because of the wide range of experiences I've had in life. One was being vice president of a Fortune 500 company. I ran 158 offices worldwide. Also, my brokerage, I imported machinery into the United States, and my construction background, as well as my voice and data worldwide. And with that said, I was very surprised that coming into the job as selectman, I've used them all. I was very amazed at what it takes to run a small town. Every day, you're into different types of situations, whether it's building a bridge or whether it's working with wages or whatever. And we hit that head on this year. We took care of comp time, which comp time is never with a managed person, and we saved thousands of dollars. We looked at machinery. By getting machinery at a reduced rate, we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. We hit everything head on. We rearranged our planning board. We got some real top-notch people because of the economy. We were able to pick what we were looking for. All the selectmen worked very well together. I think we did it uniformly, and I look forward to serving more. I take it as a privilege for serving the town of Alton, and I think we've still got a long ways to go, and a lot of our organization. With transparency, I tried to bring transparency on after I became a chairman. We brought all the department heads in to talk to the town, not just the selectmen. I wanted the town to hear what was going on. And with that, I'm hoping that we're doing a good job, and I really look for serving you another 3 years if you people see fit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stephen Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Also, thank you, Bob and Mary B. And I really hope that you plan on doing this next year, because this is something that really works in town. And thank you for the Alton, thanks to the Alton Rotary Club for sponsoring this. We appreciate it. I'm qualified for the position. I believe I am. I have an MBA degree, and I've just recently finished my coursework towards my doctorate in business administration. I'm a retired senior executive with a major multi-billion-dollar corporation, and I personally have had sole responsibility of over a $55 million budget, both the top line and the bottom line, and quite frankly, everything in between. I'm a current member of the Alton Budget Committee, have been for about 8 years, and been chairman for 5. I'm also a current member of the Alton Zoning ZBA, and I'm also a current member of the Alton SAU Study Committee. As you can see, I consider myself a community activist. I have recommended and worked to implement as many budgetary expense reductions for this town of Alton and the school as any other single individual over the last 7 years. I have taken a public stand and I've taken a public stand on most every critical Alton issue and have been consistent, proactive, and committed to an up or down vote. I promoted transparency through very limited non-public sessions. We've only had 3 in 6 years. Videotaping of all meetings, holding totally open meetings without any limitations of public input, and always being personally accessible. The reason I'm running for office is I believe that Alton faces significant challenges in the years to come as we deal with slow economic recovery, finite revenues, and growing budgets translating into ever-increasing property taxes. The critical challenge is to prevent unnecessary spending while finding new creative ways to increase revenue, foster local job growth, manage tourism, and protect our town resources. I'm running, quite frankly, for selectmen to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark DeKoff.
Yes, my name's Mark DeKoff. I'm running for selectman of Alton. I've lived in Alton with my wife, Marilee, for 20 years, since 1999, and with my 3 children, Brianna, Savannah, and Charles. I've been on the Alton Volunteer Fire Department since 2002. At this time, I serve as vice chair on the Alton Budget Committee, so I guess that's what gave me the itch to run for selectman. I'm a retired officer from the New Hampshire Army National Guard after serving 21 years. I hold a BA in Business Administration from the Southern New Hampshire University. I own a machine shop in Epsom, New Hampshire. I'm a Sunday school teacher at the Community Baptist Church in Rochester, New Hampshire. I'd like to ask the Alton voters to vote for me for selectman. I feel with my military, my business background, and my time on the Budget Committee that I'd be an asset to the town of Alton. And as we come out of these tough economic times, we're going to have to look how we can invest our tax dollars into helping the town to grow and further prosper. And I just ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments, actually questions from the audience?
My name is Shirley Lane, and I'm cemetery trustee here in the town of Alton. In the past, the selectmen have not recognized the cemetery as a department of the town. They have not been treated like other departments have, and part of that is because the cemetery has its own trust funds, and it has been fully supported by the trust funds. However, these trust funds are running out at this time. We've tried to get the selectmen to treat us like other departments. They pick up their insurances for them, and they've refused to do it for us. The cemetery is a part of Alton. It is a department of the town of Alton. We all have loved ones buried in there, and I think we should all be proud of our cemeteries and keep them as beautiful as we can. My question to you people is, if You are elected. Will you support the cemetery and treat it as a department, just like any other department in the town, and give us your support? I'd like to hear from each one of the candidates, please.
Thank you. We'll start with Rachel Strickland. Rachel?
Hi. I actually have a father that is buried in one of the cemeteries here in Alton. I do believe that the cemetery should be considered a department like anybody else. I consider it like the water department, the highway department, even though it's only managed by one person that I know of that maintains it during the day and stuff. I believe that it should be handled like any other place, and we should treat it as like we treat any other place.
Thank you. Jeffrey Clay?
I would like to know how many people are involved. Actually, can you tell me? I apologize, I didn't know the answer to that.
We have 3 trustees that run for 3-year terms. We have a caretaker, and in the summertime, we hire a part-time caretaker just for the mowing time that's on there. And that's all.
The easiest thing would give you a straight answer. I mean, I can tell you how I feel about it. I would want to see more information about what the cost of the town would be. And when are the trust funds expected to expire? Is there anything that we can do to replenish the trust funds to keep things the way they are? That's my short answer to that.
Okay. David Hussey?
Okay. I guess the way I'm looking at it, you are elected to this post. You are running out of money. So therefore, if you come to the town for money, we would have nothing to say about the cemetery, as we do not now. So you're asking to come in front of the town and use town money with the town having nothing to say about it. Yes, because right now, the way it is right now, you as a trustee, you can appropriate money for whatever you want. And the selectmen have nothing to say about it. So at the time you run out of money, it's going to have to be left up to the people, not up to the selectmen.
Yeah, just answer that.
Now, let me have them all answer this question, because it gets deeper as we get into it. Let's give them all the same shot. Mr. Miller?
First of all, the cemetery will be part of the town one day. It's going to run out of money. That's absolutely positive, especially if interest rates stay somewhere below 3%.